I'd want to see the people that are so confident in this technology staring into one of these at close range for a long time.
The problem is that these devices are causing damage to other people's equipment.
Going from the wave of positive comments I received after I last spoke to him, it's Dave Dewson, everybody, backed by popular demand. Thanks again, Dave, for joining me. Let's discuss what on earth is happening with FSD and UNECE, because after our last epic conversation about UK regulations, Tesla's vision-only approach, LiDAR and radar and everything, the very next day, UNECE had come out with some new rules and regulations, which doesn't look so good. I wonder if you could just share with us your thoughts on that.
Yeah, it's kind of it's the dragging the feet thing. I can't think of a better way to describe it. It really is dragging along. There are a couple of streams with the way this could go, and it looks like the sort of the whole UNECE thing is a long drawn out process. In the way they define things, you've kind of got the sort of level 2, I'm thinking supervised type thing, which is what's got through in Australia. As an exemption, some kind of exemption with the local authority, and then you've got the full regulation, which is the type approval and everything else, which is effectively so they talk about assistance systems and they talk about full autonomy. And when they talk full autonomy, they mean like completely hands off. The car does absolutely everything, and at no point do you have to take over. You're not relied to be take over, and that's kind of the SAE level 2 and 4. The low one being you have to supervise it and it's just an assistance thing, and the level 4 being the full autonomy, where you've got everything. You have got controls still, because you're not level 5, you haven't removed the controls, but you've still got to do something with it. The car takes control. More importantly, the vehicle's software, the vehicle manufacturer and their software is doing the driving. Therefore, it's their insurance that needs to cover that driving process. Because they're still defining regs, it's so hard to say when that's going to happen. That's when that date was. It was at 27, 28. I don't know. It's dragging on.
January 2027 was the suggestion for the earliest time for unsupervised rollout.
And that's if it gets through in whatever definitions they put into it. And if anybody objects, it will push out in 6 months delays. They draft it, put it through a meeting that happens every 6 months, and then they approve it, and then it's another 6 months where people can think about it and stick their oar into it. If anybody objects, it could just get thrown out and it will just get drifted back and back and back.
Right.
The other track is getting an exemption, as I touched on with Australia. Getting an exemption is like, please, that seems the logical path. And again, speculation, but it looks like the DfT Tesla are trying to get DfT in the UK, Department for Transport, to allow them to do supervised FSD testing, and that doesn't seem to be getting anywhere either, because DfT are requesting more safety information. If the vehicles could get out on the road, you could get the safety information, but because they won't allow them on the road, you can't get the safety information.
So the vehicles might not be in the road in the UK, but of course the data that's being gathered from Australia and New Zealand in a right-hand drive market, surely that's going to help speed up the process for the UK.
I think the most, and obviously there's shadow mode gathering data in the background. So it could well be that Tesla are able to gather data from our vehicles right now. We know they do. We've seen them uploading large files. So they are running FSD in the background, and they are making decisions, but the vehicle isn't listening to those decisions. The decisions are there, and they're just virtually in the background. So all that could be gathering data. Actually, your Tesla is monitoring your reaction times and saying, "Yeah, this human's not very good at this." Like, we didn't notice that. We didn't notice that thing that's in his blind spot that's coming at him at 70 miles an hour. It's like
okay. But are you sort of confident that Tesla's doing the work, as soon as possible to allow this, or are they taking the approach of, well, screw the UK then? These regulations are ridiculous. I mean, let's concentrate on the rest of the world first. I mean, where would Tesla be sitting with that?
Yeah, we're a fairly big market for Tesla, so I'm eternally hopeful that they are trying really hard to make it happen, and I'm sure they are. Because it's not just the UK, is it? Because they're going to have the same battle in Europe as well. So I would. Yeah,
but they must only have a certain amount of...
Sorry, the European Union, not Europe. Europe is the UK as well, but the EU is the separate thing.
They've only got a certain amount of sort of manpower they can put onto this, though, and try and solve it. And if they think that they're going to be held up till 2028, why not just concentrate on the countries that are more forward thinking? That's why Australia's got it.
You know,
Well,
Australia
exactly.
got it before us because it's we're not bitter, are we? Well,
no, not at all. I wasn't
all.
hiding that at all when I was speaking to Ryan. I know
Ryan's
he's
great.
having a lovely time.
I love Ryan's videos. They're
It's
so
great.
fabulous. Yeah.
Do check
I
out
mean,
Ryan's
it's not even him. Most of them haven't had him in them. It's been his mother-in-law and his wife. And
yeah, he's taking his dad out today as well in it, just to get his
oh,
reaction.
brilliant!
But
Yeah,
it's just lovely to see, and the irony that me and him have exactly the same car. We both have the rear-wheel drive Tesla Model Y. It's just mine's sedated on my driveway, and he's gallivanting around Australia trying to avoid kangaroos. It's just so unfair.
It is. Well,
but, it's great. I'm really happy for him. I'm happy for everyone who's got FSD. It's just so frustrating being in the UK, isn't it? The land of regulation. We're just, it's not very progressive anymore, is it?
It's still on the cards because I'm sure with trained safety drivers, Tesla will be able to gather data. And the other thing is we just don't know what kind of information they're passing, what they're asking for, what they're saying. Oh yeah, all we hear is we need more safety data. So but with neural nets, it's really hard to deliver a consistent message on how is it going to be safe? Is it going to be, because if it hits a 99.99999% edge case, it might not react in the right way. It might not do the right thing. But then humans do exactly the same thing anyway. I mean, we throw people out on a 50-minute driving test, don't we? What do you get? There's like an hour test and there's like 40 minutes of driving or something. Yeah. Demonstrating a basic competence to operate the vehicle and to stick within the rules of the road. So, so do we put an FSD car out with Optimus behind the wheel and let him pass a test? And that's it.
That's it. Personally, I think the test for passing a driving test is ludicrously simple compared to what it should be. We're all given lethal weapons, and it's hard to get my head around the fact that in America you could be 16.
It is.
I mean, no offense to 16-year-olds, but good grief, you're a little cocksure of yourself at that age. Oh, I certainly was.
It's very. I think back, it took an eternity. When you're 7, we're 17 on when we do driving test over here. And if you can, I had a mate who he lived on a farm and he drove farm machinery around the farm, and he got his first car like 8 months before he did his test, and he literally went on the day of his birthday. He booked a test. And he went out and did his test and passed straight away. And and he'd never driven on a road at all. He'd driven around the farm because the farm was quite big.
Probably gathered quite a lot of experience just from driving into the vehicles and stuff.
Yeah. I think the frustration is this catch-22 thing where they say we need more safety data, but in order to get the safety data, you need the vehicles out there gathering the safety data.
That's it.
And the more you've got, the more and ultimately they're still level 2 vehicles. So you're the driver. You are the one doing the driving. You're responsible for the vehicle. If it does something weird, you need to take over and deal with it. Yeah. For those of us that have been using AP for years, we know that we need to pay attention. We know that it does do silly things occasionally, and you just grab the wheel and take over. And it's as simple as grabbing the wheel and taking over. And I think a lot of it gets lost in the weeds of just how easy it is to take control of the vehicle and bring it back into where it needs to be.
So I've been debunking from people claiming that it's Tesla's fault, for there's a particular crash in a tunnel once, and someone was on autopilot and he had some phantom braking, and it showed the car and it just stopped, stopped. It took a while to stop, and it stopped, and then cars kept piling in behind it, and they're like, look at how dangerous Tesla's software is. And I'm like, no, there's an idiot behind the wheel there who wasn't paying attention, who should have been. It is not the car's fault that crash happened. It's, you didn't take over. People using the system need to be fully aware, of course, that it's their responsibility. It's like blaming cruise control for an accident if you happen to be in cruise control in a normal car. You would never do such a thing because it's stupid. The same is true of Tesla. So very frustrating.
It is.
Before we, I want to talk to you about lasers, because this has been bugging me since we last spoke, okay? So we'll get to laser beams in a minute, but I do want to touch on something as well that I mentioned in the last video about the way that Tesla gathers the data from autopilot accidents. Now, I did say in the previous video, how does it gather that data? Because what happens if you're in autopilot and you have a crash, or what happens if you just take it out of autopilot and then have a crash? But Tesla gathers the data in a way that if you have been in autopilot over the last 5 seconds within an accident scenario, it does class it as an autopilot accident. So Tesla are not trying to manipulate this data.
It kind of potentially got you into that situation just as you were about to take over.
Yes, exactly. And I think that's a really important thing that I should have known.
I didn't. I think it was buried in the back somewhere, and you don't think of it. But it's yeah. So they're
We're all
not
here
trying
to
to hide
learn,
it.
aren't
They're
we?
not hiding stuff. They're not
No.
trying to hide stuff. And
Yeah.
we do hear that media again. They say, oh, Tesla's making this up and they're hiding stuff, and they're not.
Okay, let's get on to laser beams. Okay,
Yeah.
so I've got a couple of videos just to play. So this is one of the first ones that I spotted. And this is obviously in China, thanks to whoever's video this is. I'm not sure whose it is exactly, but here it is. This is a radar, is it, that's shining into a camera, and it breaks the camera.
LiDAR. Yeah, LiDAR.
Sorry, a LiDAR that is pointed towards a security camera, which is now broken forever. And there's another video to play you. This one here, I wish I could remember who I took this from, but this is from a Volvo's LiDAR and a camera pointing directly at it. And you might notice these little dots. Oh, here's it from. It's from Massimo. Thank you very much.
It's in Volvo's manual. Don't point mobile phone cameras or cameras at close range into the LiDAR.
People want to take a photo of their nice new car, though. What do you do when that's the case?
Make sure it's turned off. I don't know. Again, these are Class M laser product, so there are some bits of regulation for it. It comes under the EMC, RFI, and CE marking. So the
do you know the acronyms of those? Because I don't.
So radio frequency interference is one. Electromagnetic compatibility is the other one, and it's the Europe certification. I can't remember the exact breakdown of that. So this covers electronic devices, pretty much everything. And it's classified as static and mobile. There's different classifications. But essentially what it means is if you're standing next to somebody with your phone and you can hear beeping, buzzy noises on your phone, is it the other person with another phone stood next to you? Is it them emitting too much radio frequency radiation, or is it you not robust to reject the radio frequency from the other device? So it's basically to protect consumers against people turning out dodgy product that does interfere with things. Because if you stood next to your mate on his phone and you're having two different conversations on your mobile phones and you can't have them because one of your or the other of your phones is interfering with the other one, you wouldn't be very happy at that, would you? So we have this compatibility. There's a whole suite of testing. I've actually got some pictures of semi-anechoic test chambers where you put vehicles in these giant rooms with they look like foam blocks on the walls, and that's pretty much what they are. They're radio frequency sealed rooms. So you go in them, you literally walk through the door and your phone stops working as soon as you walk through the door. And they're these for vehicles, they're big rooms. They're really, really big. And you get very, very low background radio frequency radiation, unless you walk in there with a phone, and then all the frequencies of the phone pop up. And the point is there's two parts to the test. You bombard the vehicle with external radiation at different frequencies to see how the vehicle responds. And it shouldn't put lights on the dash, and it shouldn't do weird things when it run away down the road or something. It shouldn't run away across the test cell, and it shouldn't put warning lights on the dash when it's been subjected to certain kinds of radiation. And there are limits set in the regulations to say, okay, so there's that part of the test. And then the other one is, what does the vehicle put out? So they set up aerial antennas around the vehicle and measure what the vehicle's radio frequency emissions are, because that might interfere with somebody's phone. So your phone might interfere. If you're sat in the cab with your phone, it might interfere with the vehicle, which could be very bad if it interferes with drivetrain or steering or something. And then the other way around, your vehicle shouldn't interfere with any devices that come near it. And that's essentially what CE marking is about, is ensuring that devices are within the limits of the tests that say these devices will coexist together without any issues, and if they don't, then you need to fix them. So
But from these two examples, though, that I've just showed you, I mean, these are easy examples where a car's coming towards a security camera and somebody is taking a video or a photo of a car. These are situations where I'd argue that are not compliant. That's not what I'm looking for. But what does that mean? If Volvo were putting out cars with this system in place, what does that mean for anyone's cameras that just happen to be pointing or seeing it, and then they've got a broken camera?
I don't think it's compliant. I wouldn't be happy to put a product out like that. So it was me. I've made CE marked many products in the electronics industry. You don't always have to go to a test chamber to prove, but if you apply a lot of best practice engineering when you're designing a product, your product is naturally immune to external transmission, and it's also very quiet. When you put it into any other room with any other device, it doesn't emit any radio. So it's redundant. It's robust against external stuff coming in, and it doesn't emit stuff out to interfere with other things. So, and you can do a thing called self-certification. And you're saying, as a company, I'm confident that this thing, you can put it in any room with any other device and it will work, and it will work perfectly fine and do everything it's supposed to do. The problem is that these devices are causing damage to other people's equipment. So this is where the blame game starts. It's either the camera manufacturer's filtering isn't robust enough to withstand the level of laser radiation coming from those things, or it's the laser radiation is too strong coming from those vehicles. I suspect it will get investigated at some point. Somebody somewhere will get damaged to, especially if it's damaging static cameras, if it's damaging mobile phones. I'm pretty sure somebody will investigate it at some point. If Apple get loads of phones returned with damaged sensors, they're going to go, well, hold on a minute, there's nothing wrong with these sensors. They've been out in the world for years and they're doing fine. If it happens to Samsung or LG or anybody, anybody that makes video equipment, if people are sending their cameras back and saying your camera's no good, it's broke, look, I want a new one, they're going to get really fed up with it, and then they will start down the path of saying, well, hold on a minute, these things are getting damaged by lasers coming from these Volvos, and you need to do something about it because the power levels are too high, or whatever it is that's not. If it's the camera manufacturer's problem, then they'll have to fix it.
I think perhaps an investigation such as the one that found the Dieselgate scandal, something like that, where you've got a Waymo and then loads of other cars with LiDAR that are thoroughly tested. I mean, to the point where I'd want to see the people that are so confident in this technology staring into one of these at close range for a long time, just to see if their eyes are going to be affected by this. You know,
we're really lucky because human eyes are very robust against, so are animals. Our eyes are very robust against all kinds of radiation, and we do short-term exposure is usually fine. The thing is, you stare into a laser pointer and you'll get spots in front of your eyes, and it usually gets better after a few minutes. If not, then you're in you've got a problem, haven't you? But
now imagine a future scenario there where you're walking around London and there's a lot of cars with LiDARs that are constantly beaming through people's eyes and everyone's looking at them. I mean, what's the long-term effects of this? We're not going to know, but I think there's enough to worry about just by seeing these two videos personally.
As a light-hearted response, I would get an affiliate link to some of those green glasses in your comments section, so that people can go and buy laser glasses. Because if you use, I've got a laser cutter, and it's got labels all over it. You know, it's I think it's class 1 laser product, but it's like a 5-watt laser or something, so it's pretty powerful. It cuts through plastic and stuff.
Interesting.
And it's visible light. So the LiDAR lasers are not visible light. They're pushed up in a higher frequency, so you can't see it, which makes it even more dangerous because you don't know when you're looking at it. You don't know that you're being exposed to that level. But human eyes are. In fact, all animal eyes are very good at filtering those levels of radiation. You saw that little clip I sent, didn't you? Did I send you that little clip of the Waymo going past the end of somebody's drive?
The Ring doorbell.
The Ring doorbell picked it up because they, to get low light response, they remove the IR filters from the cameras. They take the infrared filters that normally most optical cameras for taking pictures have these IR filters, and a lot of phone manufacturers are taking them away because it gives them better dynamic performance. They get better sensitivity by taking the filters off.
Right, and this is what we're looking at when we do Face IDs on our phone. Is that?
You can see the little flashy light on the red light flashing. If you record it, you can see it.
It's reminiscent then to sort of PM 2.5, isn't it? It's like it's so small that we can't see it. So it's out of sight, out of mind. We're not seeing the black plumes of smoke coming out of cars anymore because it's so fine and small and particulate we don't see it. That's sort of one point. And
doesn't mean it's not doing you any harm.
Exactly. Because it's now, instead of our bodies being able to filter it because they were larger particles, they're not filterable. So they're going straight into our eyeballs and our bloodstream, which is another topic we could touch on. But then there's something that's ringing in my mind just about wildlife as well, because just because we don't see the full spectrums of LiDARs, I mean, what's to say that this isn't interfering with all sorts of wildlife as well? And again, the idea of if these companies are adamant that LiDAR is the way, and they start building billions of cars eventually, and then we all find out, oh, that's just killed all the bees. That was a bad idea.
It's kind of, and it's inherent to the design. The thing's got to be, if it's specifically long range LiDARs, they need to be running at a fairly high power level to as the beam travels through the air, you get attenuation. The signal level drops because the dust particles in the air are just basically absorbing the light. So by the time it's got 150 meters out and reflected back into the sensor to do a measurement, it needs to be at a high enough power to get that range. It's obviously a high enough power to damage a camera that's pointing in just the right place without an IR filter on it. So.
Well, I think we could just end with the cause for concern there. Watch this space, I suppose.
Yeah.
And let's touch on this in the future. Hopefully, we can do another video and have a bit more evidence to support that this might be worth looking into. But let's leave it there then, Dave. Thanks ever so much for the chat. Come and support me on patreon.com/Tesla Jigsaw, where me and Dave did an extended interview, didn't we, a little while ago? That's had a lot of positive response. So do join us over there and help support little independent channels like me. And thank you so much, Dave, for being there. I'm Will. This is the Tesla Jigsaw. Thank you, patrons. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.